Hello everyone, in this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Moeed Pirzada to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Moeed Pirzada's words. I have several developments in front of me regarding Pakistan, the Middle East and Palestine, and also regarding America. But there's one very interesting question I want to raise in my introductory comments. It is about Imran Khan's sons, Qasim and Suleiman, and the kinds of meetings they are having in America. This is part of a campaign. Similarly, in Pakistan, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, has started a series of rallies, marches, seminars, press conferences and rallies. From July 27th to August 13th or 14th, PTI will hold several rallies and campaigns in Europe and around the world. What will be the total effect of this? How should we view it? Could this lead to the release of Imran Khan? In the last 24 hours, Faisal Karim Kundi, the governor of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, was speaking about another issue, the merger of Fatah into KP. While he was talking to the press about it, he was asked about the campaign that Imran Khan's sons are running. What do you think the outcome will be from their meetings and from the campaign running in Pakistan? Now, this wasn't his main topic, but he said that he didn't see any real success in the release of Imran Khan. He further added that he didn't think Imran Khan's sons would be able to come to Pakistan. This was an interesting comment because just a few days ago, you may remember, Mohtarama Alima Khan, Imran Khan's sister, had said that Qasim and Suleiman wouldn't need a visa to come to Pakistan because they hold niqab, or national identity card for overseas Pakistanis. This implies that the government has no objections to their entry. But clearly, according to the governor, whether it's niqab or a visa, the ruling regime under Sharif Zardari and Asim Munir does not want Imran Khan's sons to come to Pakistan. This is not the first time this has happened. A similar situation occurred back in 2006, around the time of General Musharraf. You may recall that Nawaz Sharif and Shahbaz Sharif were detained at the airport upon arrival and deported. So the big question now is whether something similar will happen to Imran Khan's sons. If they are detained, it will undoubtedly make headlines. So the question remains, what will be the end result of all this? When we try to find the end result, we need to look at 2 or 3 other developments. At least we need to consider these. First, you should look at the meeting between the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, Ishaq Dar, and Senator Marco Rubio in Washington. After the meeting, Marco Rubio tweeted, expressing his support for Pakistan's cooperation on counterterrorism and modernity. At the same time, within the same 48-hour window, Pakistan's Army Chief General Asim Munir, who has now given himself the title of Field Marshal, was in China meeting with the Vice President and Foreign Minister of China and discussing various matters related to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CIPEC. Now, if I were to say that these meetings have nothing to do with the interests of Pakistan as a state, but instead reflect the personal interests of the Sharif Zardari Asim regime, many of you, especially those who support Imran Khan, might not agree. Because, from what we were taught in school and the propaganda around Pakistan's national interests, it is usually frowned upon to criticize these meetings. But the harsh reality is that these engagements of the Sharif Zardari Asim regime are not in the interest of Pakistan as a state. Pakistan itself is just an idea. These engagements are more about leveraging deals, talking about real estate, cryptocurrency, rare earth metals and terrorism, helping out by handing over certain individuals or cooperating on other fronts. All these things serve the regime's personal interests. So this brings us back to the question, what will be the outcome of these meetings that Imran Khan's sons are having, especially in Europe and the United States? In the past 24 to 36 hours, Mahmood Khan Achakzai, in a press conference, raised a credible point, and Salman Akram Raja also spoke on the same matter. Then the question arises, how will this all connect, and what will be the final result? Meanwhile, in the last 24 to 48 hours, Imran Khan made a strong statement in both Urdu and English, emphasizing that there is no martial law in Pakistan, only the rule of law, and that no negotiations can take place with the current regime. The people must rise. This is an extreme stance from Imran Khan, but once again it is a move to increase his leverage and negotiation ability. Imran Khan is smart and intelligent enough to realize that at this stage a compromise might be possible, but a 100% result may not be achievable. All these rallies, the presence of Qasim and Suleiman in the United States and the movement of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, both in Europe and in Pakistan, are efforts to strengthen their negotiating position and leverage. On the other hand, the Sharif Zardari Asim regime is continuously making concessions to America. For example, just a few weeks ago, when American representatives visited Pakistan, the regime cooperated. But the deeper reality is that this is all playing out for political interests. This is the clever game being played between these regimes. And in this, the United States is also caught up, frustrated by the Pakistan regime's ability to play both sides. Whether they will continue to balance between Washington's interests and Beijing's remains to be seen. But this is a complicated game that the current regime in Pakistan is playing. So what's happening here is that the regime is trying to balance between American interests and China's interests, all while working to weaken the leverage of Imran Khan and Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. The big question that remains is, how long can this balance be maintained? Only time will tell. They are offered real estate deals. They say that I will generate many investments in Pakistan. Actually, what we understand is that they also have a relationship with the Trump family, specifically with Donald Trump Jr. Then after that, the story about rare earth metals in Pakistan is altered. After that, the cryptocurrency situation is showcased through Bilal Saqib. Then, the army chief of Pakistan says that they will recommend Donald Trump for the Nobel Prize. So, all these things, in reality, are an attempt by the regime to increase its leverage, and Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, wants to reduce the leverageability of the Pakistani-American community, or the diaspora. Under the circumstances, I'm going to present an example of international leverage, which involves France, the Middle East, and Palestine. But before that, I will conclude by saying that the Pakistani diaspora, PTI, should focus on how to conduct themselves in a way that can increase their leverage compared to the military regime of Pakistan. The military regime should take them seriously and be ready to talk to them, which at this moment they are not at all prepared to offer any kind of good deal. The main effort here is that maximal positions are taken. Now, in the middle of this, it will be very interesting to see that Qasim and Salman will definitely try to come to Pakistan. How will their path be blocked? Will they be detained at the airport like how Shahbaz Sharif and Nawaz Sharif were sent back during a certain time, or will they be sent back in reverse steps? Or will the airlines taking flights from Pakistan be informed that these two are persona non grata so that no big story arises? Whether they are taking flights from Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, London, or anywhere else, they will be prevented from boarding the flights. The way Qasim and Suleiman's path will be blocked, or how they will try to block it, will of course make news and headlines. This will increase the leverage of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf to some extent. If you look at the faces of Qasim and Suleiman, you will see innocent faces. They are not long-term strategists or clever politicians. They are part of a larger strategy, whether it is Jemima Goldsmith's strategy, someone else's, or PTI's strategy, or Ali M's family's strategy. They personally can't do much. This is how the situation has to be seen and understood. Now, regarding the protests of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, in Europe, or, around the world from 27th July to 13th August, one thing is very important. Will only the Pakistani origin diaspora participate in these protests, or will we see that local citizens, non-Pakistanis, students, democracy activists, journalists, people from different political parties and organizations also participate in these protests? If there are non-Pakistani elements in these protests, like we see in the protests about the Middle East, then this will have a bigger impact in those countries. Otherwise, it will only be about showing the pictures and footage of these protests on social media to people in Pakistan, showcasing how protests have taken place worldwide about Pakistan. It is also important whether these protests will be covered by local media, major television channels, or newspapers. But what about secondary television channels, secondary radio stations and secondary newspapers? Every city has its own newspapers, magazines and local outlets. Will they cover this? Will social media in those countries discuss it? All these things, if they happen, could increase the leverage of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Similarly, the Pakistani diaspora spread across the world, especially in the United States, is large. There are fewer in Australia, but there is a large number in the United Kingdom. They should also have an argument to explain the kind of danger they see in Pakistan. For those of you who watched my interview with Yalmir Khalilzad, at one point I asked Yalmir Khalilzad about the risks he saw in Pakistan. He said that he sees the risk of an implosion, a meltdown, that Pakistan, a major ally with a population of 250 million, which has been a crucial ally of the West, could face a collapse given the current circumstances. This is a very logical and important argument that should be put forward before decision-makers, media and the world. If the situation remains as it is, there is a risk of an implosion in Pakistan. Now, I want to present an international example about France, the Middle East and Israel. For those of you who follow international developments, you may have seen that on Thursday, the French President Emmanuel Macron formally announced that France will soon recognize the Palestinian state and that there will be a conference on this issue in the United Nations in September with several other countries. France, an important country in the G7 and a major Western ally in Europe, is moving to recognize Palestine. Before this, Spain, Norway and Ireland had also taken similar initiatives which placed heavy pressure on Israel. Now, what is the background of this move? In April, when French President Macron visited Egypt, he reached a small town near the Gaza border where Palestinian refugees were being treated. After seeing their situation, he decided that something must be done about it. He informally stated that France would recognize Palestine. Since then, he has been in constant negotiations with Mahmoud Abbas, the president of Palestine, the United States and Israel. Macron has tried hard to get at least 2 other countries to join this initiative: Britain in Europe and Canada in North America. But both countries, despite heavy pressure from France, were reluctant to support this. Saudi Arabia, on the other hand, has been supportive. But what is Saudi Arabia's current position? They too were expected to join in a joint press conference or declaration with France, but they backed off. The reason for this is that Macron's move comes at a time when former President Donald Trump was in Scotland, and the British government has had a policy since 1960 of not openly opposing United States foreign policy, especially in the Middle East. Canada is also scared of Trump at the moment, so both countries did not support France. When asked about this, Donald Trump responded by saying that Emmanuel Macron is a good guy, but whatever he is doing is foolish and will not lead anywhere. Israel and the Zionist groups also blasted Macron for supporting Hamas, especially after the October 7th attack by Hamas. Then, French diplomats were asked by Reuters and other analysts, what is the aim of France's recognition of Palestine? French diplomats responded by saying, don't think this is useless, because the pressure we have faced from Israel and the Zionist groups to stop recognizing Palestine clearly shows that our recognition matters. This recognition increases the leverage of Palestinians and puts pressure on Israel. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf's leadership, which is spread worldwide, has to also increase its leverage. Unfortunately, the military regime of Pakistan understands very well the leverage of its opposition and will do everything to prevent its increase. This is the contest we are witnessing right now, i.e., a few words about Adil Raja's struggle. A 4-day case was held in a London court between Adil Raja and Brigadier Rashid Nasir, a former ISI commander in Lahore. The case was about how Adil Raja's tweets and posts on social media damaged Rashid Nasir's reputation in Britain. The court is still yet to announce a decision. As per barrister Shahzad Iqbal's tweet, 5% of cases reach the court. The remaining 95% are settled out of court. Before this, it was said that ISI had quietly settled 19 cases, forcing people to shut up. But Adil Raja did not give up. He fought until the end. The result of this case, if it turns out in favour of Rashid Nasir, could mean that Adil Raja will have to pay £4 lakh, which he cannot afford. If the decision is in favour of Adil Raja, it will be a major embarrassment for ISI. The judge's language in this case will be crucial. If the decision comes in favour of Adil Raja, ISI will face a huge embarrassment, and the world will see that the establishment of Pakistan was trying to silence its critics. Every country's court looks at its establishment before making decisions, and this will be important here. British courts are more traditional compared to American courts. The key thing to observe is how the judge frames the decision and what language is used. That wraps up our translation of Moeed Pirzada's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.